Yo boys, what's poppin'? Today we're going to be talking about why we should legalise all drugs. First off, before we get into it, let me disclaim I do not condone the use of any legal or illegal substances. This video is meant purely for educational purposes and me stating my opinions. If you see this video and decide to use drugs, I take no responsibility for anything that happens to you. From marijuana to heroin, if you were caught with them, the law would lay its fat, greasy, power-hungry hand right down onto you. The US alone spends $51 billion into resources that are used to fight the war on drugs annually. Meanwhile, there are people committing mass murders, theft, kidnappings, terrorist attacks, and many more crimes that put people in way more risk than drug use ever could. Why are we sending police out to people that just want to get high in the comfort of their own home and not looking at the real issues? The two biggest causes of overdoses could be avoided if drugs were legalized. The first reason people usually overdose is because they buy a drug from a street dealer and take the drug without any proof they actually have the drug they think they do. Two examples of this are MDMA, which is cut with things like meth. MDMA is a fairly safe substance and so is meth when took correctly, but you are far more likely to overdose on meth than MDMA. So when you don't know you're taking meth, you may accidentally ingest enough meth for you to overdose, when if you took that much worth of MDMA, you would have been safe and alive. The other example is LSD. No one has ever died from LSD itself. LSD is a very safe substance even in large doses. Sometimes the LSD is cut with different research chemicals, which is deadly. The research chemical most commonly cut is called 25I-NBOMe, otherwise known as N-bomb or 25I. If drugs were legalized, they could be regulated. This means that when you buy your drug of choice, you know for 100% fact that you are getting what you wanted, which alone could massively reduce drug overdoses. The second biggest cause of an overdose is when addicts get released from prison. For example, if a heroin addict has been an addict for a long time, they have to keep upping their dose to get the same high. So when they get released from prison and their tolerance has diminished, that means their body can't handle as much heroin as they used to be able to before they went to prison. The person ends up injecting the amount they used to inject before going to prison, and because their body has forgot how to handle that much heroin, they overdose and often die, leaving already possibly broken families more broken than before. It's also very obvious the war on drugs was more about taking away our freedoms. We have known cannabis was safe and even beneficial for centuries, and so did the government. Yet despite that, they still released propaganda about cannabis like this and like this. This just shows the government is not doing any of this for your safety. They are doing this because they are power hungry and want any way possible to control the population while making it look like they are friendly. Give me one reason why drugs shouldn't be legalized. There is actually very few drugs that make you violent towards other people. If someone's not affecting anyone else but themselves, why should they not be allowed to use those drugs? Whether it affects that person's health or not, that's not for you to decide what a consenting adult does with their body. Alcohol is far worse than a lot of illegal drugs out there, and so is tobacco, yet we allow them to be legalized. It makes no sense as to why most drugs are illegal. Allowing drugs to be legal would also allow us to easily find and offer help to addicts. Addicts would also be more likely to get help, as making it legal would eventually end up in removing the stigma around drug addiction and drugs. People are going to do drugs whether they are illegal or not. Putting people behind bars for drug use is the most dumb thing ever. If not legalized, at the very least decriminalize all drugs. Most of the people who do drugs that I know, whether in real life or online, don't get addicted and are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Drugs of psychedelic nature like LSD, shrooms and DMT actually help people find themselves as people, which allows them to reach what some people like to call enlightenment. When people reach this point in life, they tend to feel a lot more happier and complete in life. Psychedelics have actually been proven to help people's mental health when used correctly, completely eliminating mental illnesses like depression, anxiety and PTSD. In my friend's case, she completely got rid of her insomnia. And many other mental illnesses have been proven to sometimes be completely eliminated by the use of psychedelics. Anyway, that's it for this video. If I haven't managed to convince you that we should legalise or decriminalise all drugs, tell me in the comments why we should keep them all illegal, and I'll be more than happy to debate you on it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.